Welcome to revops or whatever. Today's episode is about Slack, which, yes, is technically a messaging app, but more importantly, it's a stage, and we're all the performers. So today we're going to unpack the modern theater of emoji diplomacy, performative availability, and sort of the Oscar-worthy art of pretending to be offline when you need to focus. I am joined today by my very good friend, Erica. Erica and I have known each other for a long time. I won't say how long because then you'll know how old we are. Erica, if you could please tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi, Gabby. Thanks so much for having me. My name's Erica Murdoch-Waters. I am a Salesforce consultant / solution architect. I've been working in the Salesforce ecosystem, I'm going to say 5+ years now. And I've touched just about every product to the left of the fence that is Marketing Cloud. I just hop over that fence. Right now, I'm focusing on getting to know nonprofit cloud, and so that's
very cool.
A challenge, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a newer chapter for you, I think. So it's exciting.
Exciting and definitely challenging.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit is just so different, and there's just so much automation. I feel that comes with it out of the box, and just extra objects, and it's a lot to learn. So. Yeah. Good luck.
Thanks.
I actually picked you specifically for this topic today because I feel you are masterful with your usage of Slack, especially with that sort of that theater aspect of it. And I don't necessarily mean that you're pretending or you're putting on a persona to be false, but I feel you do a lot of really good communicating in very subtle ways in Slack. And so I thought this would be a great topic for you because you're just very good at it. One of the things I feel is unique about Slack, and is, in my opinion, a good thing, because I think people who use read receipts are a little bit crazy. But Slack doesn't have read receipts, and I feel the equivalent of that, that green dot that does all the work, right? So you see if somebody's online, their little green dot is on. And so I feel you're either active or you're dark, right? And it could be accidentally, but I feel in most cases it's a strategic choice. So where do you feel you fall on the spectrum of that sort of performative availability? Are you more all the way green dot all the time, or you prefer to be more a stealth lurker?
Oh, 100% green dot. And if I am in deep work or heads down, putting some sort of a status. I don't understand stealth work because, in my opinion, nobody wants to be seen as lazy, right? You know, to be seen as somebody who's not working or working short hours. So I want people to know that I'm working. And if I don't want to be bothered, or if I can't be bothered, I'm going to put up a status to let you know that, hey, please don't bother me right now, or don't expect me to respond right now. But I am online and I am working because in this very remote world, we're not in an office. You can't walk by and see that I'm at my desk and working. So the stealth shadow working, I don't really understand that.
No, it's funny. I talked about this on one of the prior episodes too, where we talked about looking for the green dot and trying to wait to time it and then communicating with somebody, but then you're kind of monitoring it. And I think you bring up a really good point about how people might take the wrong read from that and assume that you're not actually online, which is tough because I have absolutely horrible ADHD, and so I have to just put Slack away because I'm very much I want to help and I want to respond, and I will get distracted and I will get pulled in. And so in the past I would have just closed it out right? But then you're right. People get the idea that you're not around, which couldn't be further for the truth. So like, I like that little like heads down guy. That one's good. And then like every now and then I'll put like focus block on my calendar, and then it like shows like you're in a meeting or whatever. But I'm just not sure if any of it matters sometimes. Like some people just like don't even look at it.
Yeah, definitely there are a lot of people that don't read it, but in my opinion, that's on them. I have put forth the effort. It's on them that they haven't read it. But I completely understand the ADHD part, because I am too. And don't let somebody have a problem that's more interesting than what I'm working
Oh my
on.
gosh.
I will.
Oh, a puzzle. I
Yeah.
would love to help you with this instead of the thing that I'm doing right
You're
now.
working on a flow. Let me help you. I'd much rather do that. Yeah. And you mentioned read receipts. I don't think that those are reliable, because I can open something and glance at it and not read it, and a read receipt goes through, because I use Teams now often.
Teams has read receipts, does it?
That doesn't mean that I've comprehended it, I've
Right.
digested it, I've processed. So I don't think that read receipts are reliable, and that we should count on them or really look at them at all. I think
Yeah.
that you should signal in some way, hey, I've
It's like email opens, meaningless.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Unless I click on that email, I don't think you should register that in any way.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also too, like if you are like in stealth mode and like you're still like reacting to things, like you're not fooling anybody. Like people know that you're there. You're not secret. And I'm always putting reactions on things.
We can make those connections. We are smart enough to see you are commenting or reacting to the cute photos in the pet channel.
I know.
But you're not responding to my question about where is this action item that I'm asking you for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. So when you do put up a status, do you like always silence your notifications too? Or do you let them ping?
It depends on what the status is. So if I'm in a meeting, silenced. If I am definitely doing heads down work and a focus block, silenced. If I'm just working on something that's not deep work, I don't necessarily silence, but I don't necessarily respond immediately to people.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think it's the bing bong. We're like very like Pavlovian at this point, where like we hear the noise and it's like, oh, okay, what's that? Let me go look.
yeah, I had to actually go beyond Slack and lean into using my computer's do not disturb.
Yeah.
And automate. Okay, when this happens, do not disturb comes on. So it's no longer in Slack's hands, and it's no longer dependent on the Slack status. If I'm in a meeting, if I'm in a Zoom meeting, Google Meet, Teams meeting, that do not disturb comes on, and it's out of my hands. You're not going to hear from me if you Slack me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have to like go through and like catch up on everything, and then you're dumping like 16 emoji wraps at once.
Exactly.
So I guess we've talked a little bit about the reacts. Like, what is your go-to Slack emoji for like different scenarios? So like, what's your like, I see this, right? So the thing you just mentioned where you're like, I see that you've sent me a message, but I haven't digested it yet. Is that like you put the eyes on there?
Put the eyes on it. That classic green box with the check mark, meaning done. So eyes is pending. And then when I transition over, you get that check box.
It's so organized. I love that.
I lean into simple things, question mark if I don't understand, because that to me that translates very plain in English. I have a question. This doesn't make sense. I don't have to type anymore. You should understand that I need more information here. Thumbs up is pretty self-explanatory.
Mhm.
So I try to keep it simple. And I use thank you a lot, trying to show appreciation because that's always important, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a very it's like a very subtle way to communicate, although I feel like there are definitely emojis that send like a very clear message. Like I like that the Homer disappearing into the hedge gif is a good one for like I'm not touching this, or like that's a terrible idea, but I know that you're going to ship it anyway. So I'll put like the stonks one on there. Have you seen that one?
I don't know which one that is.
Oh, I'll have to send it to you. And then there's the one where he's like doing, I'm like acting out emojis right now. This is where I'm at in my life. I'm like acting, he's like doing like this, like, what are you talking about? That kind of one. What are like your choice emojis for like, what the heck are you talking about?
So I love the guy who it's really close up on his face and his eyes just go back and forth. Like he's looking around like,
Yeah.
And I can just
like the blinking
meeting, the blinking eyes. And then there's memes of this all over the place, but there is a little emoji of the dog who's sitting in the middle of the room and everything's on fire.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then of course the dumpster with the flaming fire colors. I find that I use that more often than I would like to, but
yeah, you don't want to be having that many dumpster fires.
When it fits, it fits.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? So do you think that like emojis are enforceable? I feel like they're not. This came up in like the MOPS group that I'm in, where it was like, I like to be able to use an emoji to tell somebody that they are saying something crazy, but without like having a workplace conflict.
Oh, 100%. I think that emojis should be used for any sort of communication.
Yeah.
And that they are a way to communicate in a softer manner,
yes,
or in a less confrontational manner. So you can say, I think that you are making a mistake. This is a terrible idea. But go ahead.
And it's like the nudge. I feel like it's like a gentle nudge to be like, to like give us more information or like correct course a little bit.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on, because I've seen this at a couple of companies and I honestly don't know how I feel about it, but the emojis that are essentially your photo. So it is you. Have you seen that?
I have seen that. How do I feel about it? I've seen it used in a couple ways. So the two ways I think that I've seen it used are kind of what we just described. Like if you're the person, and I feel like I am sometimes the person who isn't afraid to be like, what are you talking about? Then maybe like you making that face being the emoji, right? I have seen that. Okay. But the other way I've seen it used is like, that's like such a classic Erica thing to say or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, someone made a dad joke and like that's a Steve thing to say. And so there's like a Steve emoji, right? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it though?
So that second use case, I can get on board with. I like that. I think the first use case is what confuses me, or how I've seen companies try to use it, where you're trying to vote on something or approve something. That doesn't make sense to me. Just use the plus or the up arrow so that we can get a count, a tally.
Yeah.
I can't count each one of you. That
No,
too
this
much
got
time.
3 Brendas, 4 check marks. Yeah. Yeah. What does it mean? What does that mean?
And are you pro or against? Like, so,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. But I miss emojis. Being Teams heavy, I still get to use Slack some, but being Teams heavy, I miss the freedom of finding new emojis and bringing them into Slack. And
Yes. Yeah. I just joined a new Slack community. And that's the thing where you like, and I actually brought this up as my tab of the week on one of the other episodes where like there's like the Slack emojis website. And like that's kind of like the fun thing where you like bring emojis from your previous workspace, then you go source some new emojis, and then you like put them all in there, and then you're like excited to use them.
yes, I love it. I miss it.
What do you think about like when people like what are some like passive aggressive emojis? Like we mentioned like the thumbs up. Like what are some like where it's like, why are you putting that on
there? Oh man, that's a good question. I'm going to look at Slack right now. What the passive aggressive?
Because I sometimes feel like the eyes one is a little bit passive aggressive, although I feel like we have like adopted the new usage of it where it's like I see this, but I can't react to it yet.
Hmm. I think one eye. Like what is one eye doing? Why do we need one eye?
Mm-hmm. Are we like doing an evil eye thing or like what?
Are you trying to decide if you're looking at it or not looking at it? I don't know. Yeah, I think that would be it'd be the one eye.
What's like too many emoji reactions on a post? I feel like if you're putting like more than 3 on there, like that's so many.
You know, if you had asked me that a year ago, I probably would have agreed. But now that I've transitioned and I'm in Teams so often where you can only add one emoji,
What?
I say use as many as you want in Slack, as many as you want, especially because, you know, your thoughts may change or maybe you come back and I don't know, use as many as you want.
Man, see, I don't even know Teams. Like I think I've used it for like 10 minutes in my entire professional career. It sounds terrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I don't recommend it.
How do you is like threading a thing?
No.
Okay, so everything is just like in the channel.
You can reply to a post once. That's it. Which doesn't make sense to me. It's like emailing. Would you just send an email, a new email, every time you email somebody?
Oh, yeah.
No, nobody does that.
Mm-mm.
So why would we do that in our messaging app?
Yeah, I like threading. It keeps it neat. It keeps everything like together. Plus, you know what I really like in threading? We talk about passive aggressive, right? So in Slack and Threads, you can like unfollow a thread or you can like turn off notifications for replies. But one thing I really like to do is just type the word unsubscribe and send it as a message. Because then you're like, I'm done talking about this. But you have to like be careful of the audience, right? Of course, like you like the people who are in the thread with you hopefully know you well enough to
know why we're leaving. That's provided you're working with a group that utilizes threading. You know, I've been there with
a lot of people just like put it all in the channel.
Which I just don't understand. I don't understand. Why make life harder on yourself?
Do you do you leave channels or do you just like hoard them forever?
I hoard them forever because I have a fear of missing out. FOMO forever. But I will change my notification settings and I'll just move them to a new section.
Yeah.
So that they're lower down on the food chain, but I never leave a channel. In fact, when it's suggested that I leave a channel, I'm like, why are you suggesting this?
I know. Or
Yeah.
if like someone removes me from a channel, I'm like,
Always I'm
what are you
questioning, did I
hiding
do
from me?
something?
Yeah.
Did I?
Am I like, have you fired me from this conversation? Like, what is happening right now?
Exactly. Or what are you getting ready to talk about that I can't be a part
I
of?
know. Yeah. Do you set up channels like locked or unlocked? Like internal channels, I feel like unlocked, right? Like people should be able to. I feel like maybe I'm a little Pollyanna about it, but like I feel like if I use the search a lot, right? So like I'll search for something. So if I type in like I don't like field audit or something, right? I want to see everybody's conversations that they've had about how they're doing their field audits. You know what I mean? And I I feel like that knowledge should be like community knowledge amongst your teammates, right? I feel like obviously external channels, you want those to be locked, right? Because you don't want Steve coming in and dropping a dad joke in a channel with a client that's already angry with you. But like internal channels, I feel like that should just be open. What do you think?
I agree. I think that anything internal should be open.
Yeah.
Google Docs, SharePoints, all of that stuff. If you guys are working together, nobody should have anything to themselves. You're
Yeah.
a team, you should be sharing everything. Now, I will say that prior to Slack having the Canvas features,
Yeah.
I did used to set up private channels for myself that I would use for project management purposes. I
Yeah.
would create channels that I would just use to track projects, and they were just task related. So no one really needs to see that or search that. But other channels that I set up, yes, unlocked. Everybody should see them. Everybody should share in the knowledge.
I love those like bookmark features. Problem is like no one ever looks at it.
I do.
Well,
Book
I know, but I miss you. We don't work together anymore.
pinning files,
Yeah,
Canvas.
pinning. I love pinning.
Another thing you can't do in Teams, you can pin one thing in a channel.
What
Thing.
what are they doing?
One thing.
It's terrible. I hate it. I've not even used it and I hate it.
Don't do it.
Do you use, okay, this is a real debate I've had. Do you use Slack in the desktop app or in the browser?
Both. And on my phone.
On your phone in the app?
In the app, on my phone. On my laptop, I will switch between I primarily use the desktop app on my laptop, but I will use the browser version occasionally. On my iPad, I use the desktop or the app version on the iPad. So I think I'm mostly an app person as I just went through those devices. Yeah.
How many Slack workspaces are you in?
So this is terrible. I figured out that I've managed to sign into different workspaces on different devices. So it's not all, yeah. And I didn't quite merged all of that. So I don't know. On the device I'm on right now, I'm signed into 6 different.
That's not bad.
Well, none of them are my main job though.
Well, that's right, because you use Teams.
I use Teams.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of like community ones too. I have 14.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but there's like I think there's like four of them where I just like let them go and like maybe like once a week I take a look.
Okay. Do you have auto log you in, log you off every day for all of them? How do you handle that?
Um, no, I don't think I have that set up for any of them. So it's whatever the default setting is. They're mostly like community ones though. And I just have like, my main work one. Obviously, like I that's the one where I like maintain status and things like that. And I like try to communicate like, oh, I'm going to pick up, my kid from school, or I'm taking a break for lunch. Or my favorite status is there's an emoji. It's called Dusty Stick. And I don't think anybody uses it. But I like to use it when I'm doing a software update.
Is
And
this some Walking Dead stuff? What?
it's literally called Dusty Stick. I don't know why. And I like put that one on there when I'm doing a software update because here's the thing with the software updates, it's gonna take forever. And it's hit or miss whether you actually get logged back into Slack afterwards. So I like to put up the Dusty Stick and then I just don't let it like come down automatically, and I just put like software update, wish me luck or something like that, because I don't want to fall into the trap of people being like, oh, well, where's Gabby been? Why hasn't she been online for 8 hours? And it's like, I'm sorry, I did a software update before bed last night and I'm back online, but I'm checking my emails. Like I don't realize that I'm not signed back into Slack yet. I use the Dusty Stick. I don't even remember how I started talking about that. So that's where we are now. I need a Dusty Stick for my brain.
This is awesome. I think I just discovered a new favorite. I'm gonna save that right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your notification sound? Is it just like the standard one or did you customize it?
Oh no. I of course have different notification sounds for each workspace.
Of course you do.
Because I need to know if I need to pay attention to that sound or not, right? I think if it's a community, those are all for the most part default.
Yeah.
But if it is a community I'm more engaged with or a group that I work with or I'm consulting with, then I have a custom sound. And then I set up at mentions. Those have a different sound. I'm very much sound oriented.
Yeah. Yeah. My work one, I have this specific sound for messages on my work one, but I've not taken the time to go through the others. Do you use the hummus sound for any of them?
Yes. Hummus. I love that. Hummus. Hummus.
It's the little thing.
The little things. Do you use your pop-ups? The pop-up banners?
No, I don't want that. Is too distracting for me.
Okay. Does your app bounce?
No, also too distracting for me.
So just sounds for you.
Just sounds.
Okay.
And I almost always have my computer on do not disturb.
So it's more of a hope and a prayer when you check. Okay. Glad I'm not alone because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
The same way.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
What's like the most unhinged like Slack status you've seen? Either like maybe like one that you did or like one that you've seen somebody else do.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to think about this. Let me think about it and you tell me yours.
I think like for me, I have seen people get like really personal in their like status, like that they set on Slack. And I'm like, and like I feel like it goes back to like you mentioned this kind of like at the beginning where we talked about like it's like a workplace culture thing, like the vibe of the place. You know what I mean? Where like I don't want to work somewhere where we feel like we have to be that specific in our away messages. Like there are some things you can keep to yourself.
Having my boil drained right now. I don't know. I feel though, like sometimes you have to. I feel like maybe my most unhinged probably was when I had COVID, and I probably started out with a generic status, and then nobody was reading it, and it probably had to get a little bit more specific. Or maybe it was before that when I was trapped in the airport and having to live there for a couple of days, you know?
Yeah, so that actually is a really good segue because people using Slack, right? And I think you and I are probably referring to the same time that you had COVID when somebody kept pinging you. And I was like, can we not do that? Like she's got COVID. And I think this goes back to like, again, different ways that people use Slack. To me, like when you ask somebody, like that's very direct. That's not passive at all. Whereas like the person who was doing it was like, oh, well, she's probably just got Slack turned off and is not paying attention to it. And so she'll see it when she comes back on. And I'm like, known Erica for a long time. She does not have Slack turned off. She's seeing all of these. She's getting notifications for these. And like none of this is urgent. So like kind of how do you feel about it though?
Yeah, definitely in that situation, when it's a superior.
Yes, sorry. That was the key point for me to mention. Yes.
When it's a superior at mentioning you,
yes,
you're paying attention to that.
Yeah.
When they're at mentioning you in a thread that you were already at mentioned at the start
at the top, and you're getting notification. Yes.
That signals urgency, right? That's not casual because you were already pinged. And Slack has that checkbox of, do you want to push this through because they're not receiving notifications?
Yes.
So when you check that and push it through regardless, all of those things signal the building is burning down and we need you. We can't survive without you. That was the situation that was happening, or that was the message being relayed.
Yes.
But that was not the situation that was happening. And it was unfortunate. And it definitely made me want to give a Slack course. I was like, I feel like we need Slack training because no, this is not how you handle it at all. You're signaling that this is urgent. It's like you're yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Fire in the hole.
So on to a more fun topic, because I completely agree with you, which is obviously why I reacted the way that I did in that moment. How do you feel about profile photos? So we had a client a few years ago now that I thought did something really fun where it was like a seasonal thing and they would do like a holiday themed profile photo. And so they would like take a character from like the business that they serve, the industry of the business that they serve, they would take a character and they would use that as their profile photo. And I thought that was a really cool way for us to like get to know the clients a little bit better because you kind of like learned a little bit about them like outside of work. But then there's some people who just like leave the avatar at like the initial. And then there's some people that just like they put a picture of themselves from like their driver's license, and it's like so old. Like, what do you think of, what do you put in your profile? Do you have like a standard one, or is this another thing where you do like different by community?
So I have a standard one that I use when I am forced to use a headshot, but it is old. I don't even know how old that picture is, but it's pretty old. But I love that idea of using something seasonal, or having the flexibility to show a little bit more about your personality, or even, I know for one workspace I used what do the kids call them? A bitmoji.
Oh yeah.
Which, that created other problems. But I think that,
oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I think that people should use something. I think that the standard letter should be replaced so that we can get a sense of
like who you are,
personalities. But I don't think that people should be forced to put a headshot. I think that there should be room for creativity. So I love that example that you gave.
What's another like Slack tip that you feel like not enough people are doing?
I don't think enough people are leaning into AI and having an AI tool help them to run Slack or utilize Slack. I have Slack connected to everything. It is connected to my Google Calendar. It is connected to Jira. It is connected to this fun little tool called Reclaim, which is a free tool that actually updates my status for me.
Yay.
Automatically, and puts an emoji and puts a status. So I think that people should lean into that more to help communicate to their teammates where they're at without having to manually do it themselves.
Can I just guess that Teams doesn't do any of that?
No. Okay. No, it doesn't.
I figured I'd ask anyway.
Horrible. It's the worst. I cry daily. Not really.
What did you set your status to record this with me?
I'm waving. So I'm waving and it says I'm in an external meeting. But I didn't do it. Reclaim did it.
Oh, okay. See, so then you don't even have to do it.
So I don't even have to do it.
Do you ever overwrite it though? Like, that one's not fun enough. I want to put a different one.
I do. But I'm trying to let go a little bit more. Because the old me would update the status of all of the workspaces that I'm in, including the communities, because I have OCD like that. So just trying to let go a little bit. Those control issues.
Yep, fair enough. Yep. Well, I feel like we really kind of like ran through all of the scenarios in Slack. I feel like there's probably going to be something that happens before the end of the day where I'm like, man, I wish we talked about that. Cause like, I feel like every day there's something new happens in Slack. And I'm like, what am I even looking at right now? Like, why is this happening? But I do appreciate you spending the time with me today to talk through this. Like I said, I feel like you're very, very good at it. Obviously now you've offloaded a little bit of that work, which I think is good. But I think that you do a really good job of demonstrating why it's important, right? Like, we just sat here and had a conversation about emojis and like statuses, like do you remember like AOL away messages? And like we would like spend time like crafting those. Yeah. And it seems like it's something that's insignificant, but I feel like it's something that actually, in the way that we work together now, it is something that seems little, but is big. So I really wanted to get your perspective, and I'm glad you were able to join me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thank you so much for showing me a new emoji. I have saved the dusty
stick.
and I definitely will be using it.
I'm going to send you the Slack emoji site too, so you can get some off of there.
Yes.
So thank you to, our listeners. Next time you open Slack, remember, you're not just messaging coworkers, you're stepping onto a stage. And, in that production, your costumes are your status updates, and your dialogue is emojis, and the audience is probably your boss watching the shadow. So be careful. Remember, in Slack, no one can hear you scream, but they can see you accidentally react with the face with monocle emoji at 11 p.m. Normally, I will thank a fake sponsor, but I feel like giving everyone the gift of writing unsubscribe in Threads is my sponsor for this week. Like, next time you want to not get any more notifications, sure, you can hit the button, or you could passive aggressively just unsubscribe.
I think that's a great sponsor. And life tip.